It's Jeannie here. Today, I am so honored to be joined by actor and comedian and everyone's favorite uncle, Joey, known from his roles in the iconic TV show Full House and Fuller House. He's also a hockey player and pilot. I even hear a general contractor now. Dave Coulier is in the house. Uncle Joey, Dave, welcome.
Thank you, Jeannie. I don't know if I can follow all of that, but apparently I'm busy.
Very, very busy, but we're here to talk about something else incredible that's going on. You have a new series on PureFlix called Live and Local. So can you share with us about the series and just kind of how you even got involved with PureFlix?
Sure. It's for Sony Affirm, and it's going to be streaming on PureFlix, which is very faith-based. And so I got the script and I saw that it was a real departure for me. I got to wear a nice, big, thick, real beard. My real beard I got to grow out, and I got to play kind of a very different character than most people are used to seeing me play. So I got to play a little bit of a curmudgeon who is a host on a faith-based radio show on a very small station, but they're #1 in the market. So he's a guy who just is not going to change. He doesn't want to do social media. He doesn't really want to break it because he doesn't feel as though it's broken. So my character has a lot of flaws, but it's a really interesting show the way we shot it. It's got a little bit of kind of the Office kind of feel to it, in that we've got a lot of handheld camera movements, and then we've got 6 static cameras around this radio studio. They built a full radio studio for us to shoot the show, and I just had a wonderful time doing this, and there's a little bit of faith implements in it. We have a lot of faith-based rockers, magicians,
Right.
comedians. I mean, it's all over the spectrum as real guests. So it's a really interesting show. I will tell people it takes, it's kind of a slow starter, but once you get into it, you kind of get hooked. So bear with us in that first episode. There's a lot of information we have to get out, but it was a blast, and Sony Affirm's been great, and PureFlix has been great. So we're really looking forward to the premiere July 7th.
I know, I can't wait. I'm excited to watch it, and the whole Office-like feel, like, come on, everybody loves that. And for me, the faith obviously is a big part of me and what I do. Do you have a faith dynamic in your own life?
I do. I always tell people I went to Catholic schools from grade 3 through 12, so I'm really messed up. So that's my joke that I do. But I came from a very a big Catholic community here in the city of Detroit, and so church was kind of the central focus for our lives. It was really kind of our meeting place, and a place where we socialized, and it was a place where we helped those in need, and we helped each other. So it's always been in my life, in one way or another. But I always say that was kind of like faith training boot camp for me, was going through parochial school.
Yeah, I grew up Catholic as well. And from my experience, it was pretty, ritual, based. And then, later on, I kind of switched to relational more with my faith, and became, I guess, a Christian, full blown. But that's awesome. I didn't know that about you. I know in the show, interesting enough, it's a fake show, but you guys do real interviews. And you mentioned a Christian rocker. So you had John Cooper on. What was that like? So what do you talk to him about in a fake show, but it be a real interview? Like, what's that dynamic?
We talked to him about what he's up to in his life, and I didn't realize how big of a rock and roller he is, like huge, like touring with huge bands like Metallica and stuff. I mean, like huge stuff. And, and his family is such an integral part of his life. His wife's in the band with him. And
Yeah.
so that was really cool. So, he just, I was really impressed with him, just, not so much as a rock and roller, but as a human being. The guy's really, really got it together. And he's got such a faith-based family operating system that it was really cool to interview him.
Yeah, yeah, he's an awesome, awesome person for sure. And so are you.
Oh,
I've
thanks.
serious. I've been doing, some research and just checking out your life and just I love how honest you've been with your own journey to sobriety. And I would just love if you can share with us about that because personally I have someone in my family who's struggling with alcohol addiction in particular, and it affects everything and everyone. And it's a very weighty thing. How did you get yourself to the other side, to be able to realize, maybe sobriety was the better choice?
Well, I never thought I struggled with alcohol, and that was the problem. And I grew up in a culture where we would go out for pizza after our hockey games here, and the parents would pour us a little beer in a tiny little glass, and we thought, oh, we're so cool, we're just like the parents. So that was the way I grew up. I was a child of the 60s. I was born in 1959. It was a really different culture. And so I always equated alcohol with having a great time, and everybody's laughing and jumping into the pool, and we're having pizza parties, and the parents are laughing and having a great time, and so are the kids. And so there wasn't this awareness of the destructive capabilities of alcohol, both psychological, emotional, spiritual. That wasn't really part of the vernacular back then.
Mhm.
So in my life, alcohol always equated a good time. And so I didn't really realize I had a problem until a few years ago when my wife really started to get worried. And, we would always have a bottle of wine with dinner every night. And then it became more than that. It became more than, hey, we're just having a great bottle of wine with dinner. It was just, I'm going to open a bottle of wine, for opening a bottle of wine's sake, and it wasn't something that I ever felt out of control with. I'm a licensed instrument rated pilot. And so I knew I was kind of a smart drunk, really, is what I was. I would take a few days off before I knew I had to fly so that I could be very aware and very crisp and clear thinking. And so I would kind of build my life around those moments of I need to take it easy so that I can, do what I need to do. Same thing with being a television director. Same thing with being an actor. I thought, oh, well, I'm going to have a puffy face on camera, so I better stop drinking a few days beforehand. So it was very calculated. But when my wife, Melissa, started to really get concerned and telling me, I'm really worried about you, and I'm really worried about the drinking. And then I had a bad fall.
Yeah.
And I realized after, and I posted the picture to Instagram where my face is all
Yes.
broken up and bloody. And my wife was out of town, and my friend said, you better send her that picture before she gets home, because that's not going to heal up in 2 days. And I said, you're absolutely right. So I sent her the picture, and she started crying. And she just said, we really need to talk about this. And so even after that happened, it took me another year of introspection, uh, looking at my own spirituality and looking at my own life to kind of gauge how this was going to affect my life. I thought, am I still going to be the funny guy? Am I still going to be the final guy at the party? Am I still going to be the guy who makes everybody laugh? And I thought, maybe all these years I've had some liquid courage going. Do I really need that? Is it a crutch? And what have I been missing romantically with my wife, spiritually in my life, psychologically, creatively? And I started to really question all of those things. And so then when I finally decided to get sober, January 1st of 2020, I have never looked back. And I never wanted to preach to people. I just wanted to share my story. And if someone can see a little bit of themselves in me and I can help them that way, then that's a real plus. That is a real check in the positive column for me.
That's amazing. Thank you for that and for being so honest with your journey. It's crazy because you decided to get sober and then, your life takes this crazy, one after the other losses in your life with your brother, then your father, and then the beloved Bob Saget. So how, there are people in this season, I think what we can all find common ground is the level of loss that we've had after the pandemic, and just, whether it's a loved one or just something grand like that. In your grief journey, how was that for you, as well as, having to go through it sober?
It was very sobering. It was a wake-up call. I realized that I could no longer cover up life's journey of sorrow by applying these layers of alcohol on it. I realized that I really had to feel the rawness of it, the emotion of it. And it kind of started a year ago. My brother took his own life, and he had struggled with, a lot of issues throughout his life. And so his mental health was something that I didn't think was as deep as it turned out to be for him to take his own life. But for him, every day was such a struggle. And every day was, he would rather not be here than be here. That's how tough it was for him to make that final decision. And I found my brother at my dad's house down the basement. I was the one who found him. And you want to talk about a heart punch. That was a really stiff punch to my heart, to my soul. And believe me, being sober, I felt that more than I ever had, because those layers of alcohol weren't there to mask it.
Mhm.
And then we went right from my brother passing away and, helping with all of his affairs, and to taking care of my dad, because my brother was taking care of my dad, who was in his 90s. And so we went right from that to taking care of my dad, to my dad going into assisted living, and being there every day for him, at his side, visiting him and making sure he had everything he needed, and using our spirituality to give to him. And so then Bob Saget passed away. And you want to talk about another heart punch. It was just so sudden, like my brother. And John Stamos was the one who called me and said, Bob's gone. And I said, what do you mean? I was texting him yesterday during the day. Like, he said, he's dead. They found him dead in his hotel room. And I just, we all have those moments where it is a defining emotional, spiritual, psychological moment. And that was it for me. That hit me so hard. I hadn't even had time to grieve my brother because I was helping my dad so much. And that really, really hit me. And I just exploded with emotion. It was just walls of water and sorrow. I met Bob when I was 18 years old. That's how far back we go. I met Bob when I was a struggling stand-up here in Detroit. and we just became instant brothers. So to know someone for 40 plus years like that and suddenly have them ripped away when you're speaking to them the day before, just I couldn't process that.
Yeah.
Jeannie, it was just not humanly possible that I had the tools to deal with that. But thank goodness, again, I was sober and I was able to deal with it head on and try to make sense of all of it. I didn't have, it was a full canvas that I was painting on emotionally. It wasn't like, everything was already filled in and I had to just kind of paint this one little section in. It was the full canvas of everything that a human can possibly go through. And then my dad passed away a couple months after Bob. And in between there, we had Norm Macdonald pass away, Louis Anderson pass away, Gilbert Gottfried passes away.
Oh boy.
One of my best friends that I know from Michigan here passes away. Another one passes away. And I just thought to myself, there was no way I was going to make it through this journey. I wouldn't have been able to feel my own spirituality because I was covering it up with alcohol. And so there was no way that I was going to make it through all of this on crutches. I had to, it's been like walking on my own 2 feet emotionally for the past 2.5 years. So like I said, if anybody can share my journey, we all have an incredible loss. We all go through really tough times. It's just, I didn't think mine was all going to happen at once within a condensed year period. But if somebody can see themselves through me and the hardship, the hardship and loss, which we all get, and relate to that, sometimes it takes that to sober us up.
Well, it's admirable the way you're able to speak honestly about the raw emotion, and it's almost as God knew that you needed to get sober before, handling all the weight of all that grief. I want to end here. There was a photo of you and your TV niece, Candace Cameron Bure, that went viral during the whole Bob Saget, memorial and all of that, where it said, "Love like Jesus, hug like Bob Saget." And we reported on it. It blew up. I don't know what was so, about it, but it really blew up. And I want to ask you, we're in crazy times in the world. We watch the news and I cannot believe this is reality. If we think about that saying, love like Jesus, hug like Bob Saget, can you kind of talk to the importance of having a mindset like that in these crazy times?
Love like Jesus and hug like Bob Saget. You can't get any simpler than that. That just says it all. It just says love. And I've been talking with friends a lot lately about the state of where we are as a nation, where we are as a world. And I said the other night, I said, I don't care what your politics are. I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican, or you believe in this or you believe in that. We need to get back in this country, back to the most important word in the name of our country, which is united. We need to be the United States of America, because we're all losing right now with all of this hate and divisiveness. We need to really listen to each other. We need to support each other, and we need to be united. And the only way you can do that is with love.
Yeah. Dave, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with us?
Yes, my social security number, my bank account numbers. It's been a real journey talking about all this stuff. And you said in the beginning, thanks for being so honest with us. I have to be honest with myself first before I can be honest with anybody else. And so that's been the journey, is like really peeling away all those layers and getting down to, okay, who's Dave? Who am I really? And so thanks for letting me express that. And so lovely to talk with you.
Same here. And anytime, and I pray that, on this journey of the layers being peeled off, that you just continue to shine brightly in this world. I just had a son, and I think of, your character as Uncle Joey, and how you always brought so much light to the TV screen with your impersonations and things like that. And honestly, I don't see that anymore on TV. There aren't really examples like that. So I'm grateful that I have examples like that, so I can be that for my son and for the kids, that follow. So thank you so much. What you
Oh,
do matters.
thank you. Congratulations. There aren't many shows like Full House and Fuller House anymore because we tell each other on that show that we love each other. And I think for a lot of kids and parents, it's kind of like watching our show is kind of like video comfort food. It really is. It gives you a sense of love and a sense of family and a sense of togetherness. And I think that's what we're most proud of for Full House and Fuller House. So congratulations.
Thank you. And congratulations to you with everything. And I hope to talk to you again in the near future.